What is going on, guys? Johnny on the track, back with another video. Apologize in advance as I'm already coughing. Dealing with some flu-like symptoms, but we battle through. That's what we do. So we are back. We are officially back with well, I guess today's Wednesday, but I plan to do the Tuesday betting shows moving forward. But we are back with my NASCAR best bets and drivers to watch for. And so obviously this week we have the clash at Bowman Gray Stadium. Should be a good one, should be exciting. I will say I have bet on the clash the last 2 years. I honestly don't even remember if I won last year. I know Denny Hamlin won. I know 2 years ago I won with Martin Truex Jr. winning the clash. Yeah, I'm not sure, honestly. I feel like I don't think I hit because I feel like I would have remembered, betting on Denny and winning the clash there. But nonetheless, I will be betting pretty lightly. I think there's just a lot of new drivers, a lot of new teams, a lot of new crew chiefs, spotters. So as much as we can use prior data for a lot of these guys, I look at a guy like Denny Hamlin and say, well, no more gay part for him. So what is that? Do for that team? What is that team going to look like out the gate? I think there's a lot of questions there. Chase Briscoe in a Toyota, in a Joe Gibbs Racing Toyota, talented race car driver. What's that going to be like? I have some expectations around that, but might have to wait to see. There's a lot of guys. You look at Justin Haley at Spire with Rodney Childers. How's that going to work? Josh Berry and maybe a de facto Wood Brothers fourth Penske car. That could be something we want to watch for. Ryan Preece, short track guy who's had success at the Clash in years prior, and an RFK Racing Ford. What does that look like? So I say all that to basically say I'm going to give you some bets that I feel pretty comfortable and confident making. But at the same time, I would refrain from placing anything crazy and big because it's an exhibition race. It's at a new track for most of these guys. And of course, like I said, a lot of new teams, a lot of new drivers, a lot of new faces in new spots. So with that, we'll get right into it. I'm going to start with an easy place here. I think if you do bet this race, I think you have to place something on Logano. I'll be honest. Let me get the odds up as I'm doing this. I'm going to go with DraftKings is going to be the odds we work from here today. But I'm going to be honest. Even year rather Logano. It does make me nervous a little bit. I'll be honest. However, I still think, if we're just looking at short flats, which Bowman Gray is, sorry here, trying to get this up. All right, so Logano's 10-1. He's plus 1,000. So yeah, again, if we look at short flats with limited passing, he's a great choice, right? The All-Star race he won last year, Richmond, he's always been fast. Phoenix, you look at another place where Logano seems to be lights out. Logano's always up top at Martinsville. He's just a machine at these short flats. He's aggressive. He's riding the high of being a champion, so he's got that confidence. I like Logano here in this spot, especially at the 10-1 numbers. Joey Logano is one of these outright bets. I'm going to go to his teammate Ryan Blaney, also at the 10-1 number on DraftKings. Another no-brainer bet for me. Martinsville, he's been great at, complete stud, which I think is a good comp track here. Phoenix, we obviously know he's won there before, been super fast, or was super fast rather, to end the year, finished second to Logano, another short flat. Obviously a lot bigger. This is only a quarter-mile track that we're looking at, Phoenix being a 1 mile, but again, similar package. It's still being a flat. He feeds on short flats in the next gen era. So I like Blaney as well at the 10-1 number. So Blaney and Logano. I mentioned Chase Briscoe. I think he's a guy that we want to look at. I really do. Chase Briscoe, the number on him is 8.5-1. So I'm hoping that maybe he slips a little bit and gets closer to that 10-1 number. But he's always been good at Martinsville in his career. Like I said, a good comp track, flat, short. And now he's going to be in a JGR Toyota with a crew chief that has won this event with Martin Truex Jr. in the past. So Um, out of the four Joe Gibbs Racing Toyotas, I like Briscoe the best. I think Bell oftentimes just doesn't come prepped and ready for this event. Um, Even like honestly, a lot of times out the gate, Bell comes out flat and then really heats up in the mid to summer months. So I'm gonna pause on Bell, and then Denny, the new crew chief, concerns me a little bit, quite frankly. And I could be wrong there. Denny could come out and be lights out in practice, lights out in the heat races, and kind of wills his way to victory. But I look at Chase Briscoe here as a guy trying to prove himself in a good ride at a familiar track for this team that they've had, or familiar event, let's say, that they've had success at. So I like Chase Briscoe here to make a strong case for the win at 8.5 to 1. Again, hopefully that number can go closer to 10 to 1. So right now I've got Logano, Blaney, Briscoe. I mentioned Ryan Preece in my little prelude. And I think a lot of people are going to be on him, and rightfully so. I get why, right? He's been great at short flats over the last couple of years in his time at SHR. He led laps, looked like he was, a potential winner in 2023 at the Clash. But here's what I'll say: RFK never comes ready for this event. They just don't. They oftentimes show no speed at all in the Clash, and if they get in, they're not a factor. So I'm going to stay away from Priest at the moment. I like Priest this year overall. I think there's a lot of tracks where Ryan Priest is going to be a good bet, whether it be a top 10, top Ford, and that sort of thing. But Ryan Priest to me is not the dark horse pick that you might want to be looking for. In my opinion, the dark horse pick that you want to look for is Josh Berry. He's the underdog that I like at 35 to 1. Um, in my opinion, right now, he's a much better driver than Harrison Burton was in this ride. So he's just more experienced. He's done it at sort of this level and had results last year, had some good results. Aside from that, or besides rather from that win at Daytona from Harrison Burton, he hasn't shown results. Josh Berry showed flashes where he could be a guy in the Cup Series. So, I look at Penske and their dominance at this sort of track. And if we do see the Strong Alliance's fourth Penske car, which they've called it the last however many years now, I like Josh Berry. His teammates always come prepared in these sort of races, in these short flats. And if that's the case, I don't see why Josh Berry, a proven short track guy, is not one to watch out for at Bowman Gray. So I really, really like Josh Berry here in this spot. I think he's going to be fast from start to finish. And I think there's going to be a lot of short tracks this year where Josh Berry is a guy that shows you something. Because again, now he's going to have the data with the likes of Logano, with the likes of Orion Blaney, even to a lesser extent Austin Cindric, but Logano, Blaney, and now you put a short track stud like Josh Berry, in a car like that, which I think is going to take strides this year. That is the underdog pick I like. That is the 35 to 1. Maybe you can even shop around, find it closer to the 50 to 1 number that I feel like you should be betting on. So Josh Berry to me is that underdog pick. A couple other guys I mentioned, right? Denny Hamlin. He's always fast at these short tracks, these short flat tracks. And rightfully so, if you want to bet on him, I get why. Like I said, the new crew chief does concern me a little bit. I'm not sure how that dynamic is going to mesh right out the gate. So that's why I'm leaning more towards Briscoe. Ty Gibbs, oftentimes comes with a fast car at the Clash, but if you just look at his kind of results on low downforce, kind of like digging into the speed numbers, he just doesn't have it for me. I just don't think that car is fast enough to go out and win. That's why, again, I'm leaning towards Briscoe and Bell. I mentioned it takes a little bit for Bell to get going. So Logano, Blaney, Briscoe, and Berry are my bets. I'm not going to place anything crazy, but they'll be the guys I'm targeting. And who knows? I think maybe practice and sort of some of these heat races might tell us something where we can post something or right before the race rather. So Johnny on the track. at Action Network for those final bets and the betting card at JOTT_podcast on X for another location to find that betting card. But want to know what you guys think. Throw a like for this video. Give your thoughts on drivers and bets in the comment section below. Tell me if I'm going crazy or if I'm missing somebody big. And of course, subscribe for more content because we will be doing these shows every week to get you prepped for the best bets of the Sunday race. I say the weekend. Sometimes we give some extra stuff, but the best bets of the Cup race on Sunday. So there it is. One more time. Logano, Blaney, Briscoe, and Josh Berry are my picks that I'm going with for the clash at Bowman Gray. Appreciate you guys watching. And as we say, let's go win some money.